Hey guys, Tom here. Wanted to take a quick look at Sara's watch list from yesterday, see what worked, what didn't, and why. To start, we have AI, which was on her bearish list. We'll take a look at those first. The weekly, I'm going to mark. And if we go to the daily chart, so we had an inside bar and down, bear break. That started on Monday. Just kind of poked down a little bit here. Tuesday, didn't hit its target. Wednesday, we've got an inside bar that broke bear, so let's mark that. And targets down here. And another target down here, I believe, right, for the weekly. So we know we still have magnitude on the week. The week is in force, and you've got a daily setup just under the weekly trigger. So that was a nice call out there by Sara. Didn't move a whole bunch. This might be, one that continues to fall apart. It's kind of too late in the week for the weekly to play out. Next, let's take a look at Roblox. Nothing really on the weekly. On the daily, we had this, which I already marked here, this RevStrat 1-2 up red shooter, looking for a 2 down. And what's interesting about this is if this works and gets some follow through here, you'll see the month and week are currently green, but they would flip red if this got some momentum behind it. Definitely one to keep an eye on. It just didn't really go anywhere. If we look on a 15-minute chart, you'll see the open was a little nutty. I mean, they just ran it up, dumped it down. This is where it just pretty much stopped at the monthly open, and then you end up chopping around in here. That's usually what happens when you get these wide moves, mother bar problems. You end up just kind of stuck inside for a bit. Next, let's take a look at spot. On the weekly chart, here we've got a 2 up red shooter that was in force, has been in force here for this week. Just can't get, the bears can't seem to get any follow through here. Sara was looking for, I believe, these couple pivots here to break bear and bring us maybe down here to 250. That's what I would be looking for. So that one did not work. Inside day. This may be one of those setups that just takes another day or two to play out. So we are going to break out of this tight range here at some point. So sometimes these setups, if they don't go right away, I like to keep an eye on them for the next day or two and see if they eventually get follow through. Next up, Uber on the weekly. We've got the weekly is in force under 77.43. We take a look at the daily. And we've got a daily setup to trigger the weekly. A daily RevStrat 1-2 up shooter, looking for a 2 down to take us to here. Then down here. And down here. And then you've got a gap to fill. So this one triggered, it just didn't really get going. So that happens. IBM here, this was a neutral play. Could have gone either way. So looking for either it to break bull or bear. And you can see we got some follow through down here, and I believe it hit target. Yes, it did. The low is 192.12. By hit the target, passed it by 3 cents. So that's why we say take profit at targets. Targets are short-term exhaustion. Target was a bull play. Let's start at the weekly, inside week, daily. So looking for a bullish RevStrat 1-2 down hammer. Looking for this to trigger up, and we've got a little pivot machine gun here. We would also flip the week bullish over 170.19. So That would be our target is up here, which just flips the weak green, and we could get some momentum, but it just didn't trigger, did not play out, and the bearish side is just continuation, so nothing of interest there. And finally, let's take a look at Meta. This was on the bullish list. So we had an inside day yesterday that triggered bull and went nowhere. If we look on a 5-minute chart, we'll see right here. We opened, triggered, and immediately died, and then spent most of the day chopping around until we finally sold off and went outside day. And on this, you could have flipped bearish. I've gotten much better at noticing when a bullish or bearish setup triggers and goes nowhere and starts falling back through the range, especially when there's an inside candle before, to look for potential outside bars. So if you trade the SSS 50% rule, you could have gotten in at 496.01 for the outside day, which also, if we look here, the day was red and we flipped the week red under 497.01. So I really like these setups where we end up flipping time frame continuity on the way to hitting target, because usually you get decent follow through on those. So, all right, I hope that's helpful. That's my take on Sarah's watch list. I'm sure I'll get a report card back from Sarah when she finishes watching this. All right, guys, talk soon.